Okay, so sorry guys, this will be two separate videos because I must hit stop instead of pause. All right, so using Pythagorean theorem, I have 100 squared plus 50 squared, and the square root of that gives me 111.8. Yes? Okay, this force over here is tangent inverse of opposite over adjacent 50 over 100, which gives me 26.6 degrees. And then this one over here is 60.4 degrees. Now these ones are forces pulling on an object. This is not a directional problem. Okay? Good? What is your question? So this one has two directional angles because there's two separate forces. Yeah. You have to do both because there's two separate forces. So if I'm looking at this angle here, this is opposite over adjacent. And then for this one, this is my opposite over my adjacent. Is that helpful? Okay. It wants the magnitude at, right, this one is not directional, so you don't have to do the southwest or, okay, good, yes. Because they didn't tell me which way the force was pulling. Again, this is not north, this is Newton. No, you do tangent inverse. You do tangent inverse, 50 divided by 100. For this angle here, and this one would be 100 over 50. Okay? All right, moving on. All right. So now we are back to one where it's directional, and this is one of the harder directional ones, so I need you to listen very carefully. Okay. A plane flies east at 210 kilometers per hour. Okay? And then it's going to turn. Now, this is not southeast. What this is 20 degrees east of south. 20 degrees east of south. So south would be here, right? But I'm going to go towards the east. How many degrees? 20 degrees. Okay? This is 20 degrees east of south. 20 degrees east of south. Who can tell me now how big this whole angle is? 110. Because this is a right angle, which is worth 90, plus the 20-degree shift gives me 110. My resultant vector must start at an initial and end at a terminal. Good? So, I need to find the magnitude of the dotted line, and I need to find the degree in which the plane turns. So, this is the path of the plane because it wants to avoid hitting another plane. But another plane lucked out and got to do a direct route. So how far is the direct route, and what's the difference in what's the angle measure? Okay, so find those two pieces of information now. And by the way, I cannot use Pythagorean theorem, and I cannot use SOHCAHTOA. Why? Not a right triangle. What am I going to use? Law of sines, law of cosines. More specifically, I'm going to use law of cosines because I do not have an angle side pair. I don't know either of these angles, and the only angle I do know, I don't know its side. So you're going to do law of cosine. Go ahead. Okay. All right, so I did forget to write the 100. The 100's there now. It was from the initial problem. And sorry, the 110 is for this angle. I know it looks like it's the length of the line. Please remember law of cosines, the angle you know is across from little c. And little c is what we're trying to find. So c squared equals 210 squared. You could have started with 100 squared. It doesn't matter. A and B are like legs of a triangle. They're interchangeable. It doesn't matter which one I start with. Plus 100 squared minus 2 times 210 times 100 times the cosine of 110. I type that in my calculator, and then I take the square root of it, and I get C equals that's for the magnitude. What do we get? 261.7 is the length of this line. And it is the hypotenuse. So, well, it is not the hypotenuse, but it is the longest side of the triangle, so it should have the biggest amount. Okay, so if you got a number smaller than 210, something went wrong because it needs to be the biggest number. Okay, now I need to find the angle, this angle here. Okay, I'm going to use the law of sines. So I know the sine of 110 goes with 261.7, and that is equal to this angle who pairs with 100. So we're just going to call it A. So I would multiply this by 100. That gets rid of that. What gets rid of sine? Inverse sine. Type it all in the calculator, and the angle in which it was redirected is going to be how big? You got 21 point. All right, so 21 degrees. Okay? Good? No, you don't have to find, you're only finding the turn, okay? The change there. All right, let's try to quickly make a picture for your homework tonight. Your homework is going to be number 3 and number 4. 4 already has a picture, so let's look at number 3. An airplane is heading, how would I read this here? 10 degrees east of north. So here's north, and I'm going to go 10 degrees east. Okay? So this is 10 degrees east. And then a wind is going to blow in from the west. Bam, like this. So how big is this angle here going to be? 90 plus 10, which is 100 degrees. And then you need to find the resultant vector. Sorry, a little sloppy there. Everyone good? And which angle am I going to find? Where the two arrows meet or the initials meet? Initials meet. So I'm looking for this angle right here. I'm looking for the missing dotted line, which is the magnitude, and this angle. Yes. Okay, it says 10 degrees east of north. So I had a north line, and I shifted 10 degrees. So right here, this is 90 degrees, and the line's an additional 10 degrees. 90 plus 10 is 100. Homework is 3 and 4.